This is Ndtv, and you're watching Classics.
Barack Obama's campaign tagline was change. A new year and a new Congress in Washington. Human rights groups have called that blockade the big story, of course, this week, many would argue. I joined Ndtv on the 2nd of July 1995, I remember. One of my first memories is of Appan. Appan used to have a cabin, cubicle right outside Radhika Roy's room, and he had one chair next to his desk for one of us to sit on, and he had a stack of papers about this high. I remember on day one of joining Ndtv, we used to do a small show for Doordarshan at the time called The News Tonight, a murder that had taken place in Delhi, and a forensic team had found pieces of a body, a woman's body, in a tandoor in central Delhi, in I think it was the Coconut Grove Hotel of a restaurant of Ashok Yatri Nivas. And Appan just looked at me and said, why don't you go and check it out? And I said, but you know, where do I begin? It's day one. And he said, well, sink or swim, this is how you do it. And so off I went. What is now today known in history as the Tandoor murder.
This arrest has been a major breakthrough as far as the Vasant Kunj cases are concerned. But whether it will provide further insights into similar murder cases in the capital is still an unanswered question. Maya Mirchandani at the police headquarters in Delhi for the News Tonight.
What brought me here was the world this week. Sitting on that stack of newspapers in Appan's cubicle and hearing his stories about traveling all over the world and reporting from Russia and Sri Lanka and the United States and Africa and Europe, and you know, it just sort of fueled my interest further. Made a decision very early on of where to go and which direction to move my time in Ndtv, and I went and studied international relations in 1998. I remember I took 9 months, 10 months off from news, and I went and got my degrees, so I could say, all right, here I do have the qualifications to actually report on international relations, so please let me do this. And I came back in '99, and again it was a sink or swim. I hit the ground running. Appan was gone by then, so I didn't have him to talk to about my stories and about my apprehensions, concerns. But December '99, it was my first assignment as an international affairs reporter. It was my first assignment outside India, and we went to Colombo. Chandrika was having a big rally in Colombo at the town hall on the 18th of December. It was the final rally of the campaign, and before the end of the rally, we'd managed to get clearance to walk up to her. So we positioned ourselves at the edge of the stage. She walked down, we started asking a question.
Can we just ask you, what do you think your chances are in these elections, ma'am?
I'm winning the election.
And there was an explosion.
I am winning the election.
Your confidence?
Oh man! Oh man!
Don't take chances, just come here.
The bomber was a woman. She had several kilograms of RDX strapped to her waist. Gaurav Dwivedi and I, he was my camera person on that assignment, we had left our tripod at that spot and picked up the camera handheld to walk towards Chandrika, said we'll leave the tripod, and that's exactly where this woman had, detonated.
For the next 4 or 5, 10 seconds, we had no clue about what was going on.
25 people died in that. We were remarkably unhurt. Not a scratch on Gaurav, not a scratch on me. But we had colleagues, journalist colleagues from the local Rupvahini channel in Colombo. That camera person died. The NHK team was airlifted back with critical injuries to Tokyo. When I looked at the tripod and I took off my dupatta and I gave it to him and I said, I can't touch that, but you can give me the camera. Here, take my dupatta and hold the tripod.
Use my chunni. Gaurav, use my chunni. Give me the camera.
I always think of that event as a turning point for me personally, certainly.
You were the target, Maya.
I know, but I mean, like, we were right, we were standing.
No, Maya. Just me.
A few days later, IC-814 had been hijacked. So I think it was a very, very eventful start to my career as a foreign policy reporter.